actual insurrection, a real one, an insurrection against the rule of law, against civilization itself, that's been going on for more than a year in the city of Chicago. Since the death of George Floyd last May, Chicago's mayor, Lori Lightfoot, has embraced every part of the equity and inclusion agenda. Lightfoot banned the police from chasing criminals, even in the case of some very serious offenses. Her DA refuses to prosecute many crimes. The results? Nearly 200 more people have been murdered this year than last. Many more dead people, hundreds. Yesterday, there was yet another mass killing in Chicago. Watch.
Denise Mathis, Brittanya Rogers, Blake Lee, and Shermetria Williams, all killed in Chicago's latest mass shooting. The shooting happened at about 5:45 Tuesday morning inside a home on the 6200 block of South Morgan Street in Englewood. Of the 8 people that were shot, 4 died. The other 4 victims are in the hospital, 2 of them reported in critical condition. The attack is the 3rd mass shooting in Chicago in a little more than a week.
Did you hear that? That was the 3rd mass shooting in Chicago in just over a week. Each one of them was a far greater human tragedy than anything that happened at the Capitol on January 6th. But as the bodies in Chicago accumulate, the people who run the city barely notice. In fact, they made it possible. 4 days before Christmas, a 28-year-old named Marvin Flanagan murdered a man during a home invasion. Flanagan should have been in jail at the time. He was a 5-time felon with convictions for armed robbery. But officials let him out, and then he promptly committed murder. This is now common in the city of Chicago. Marvin Flanagan is just one of dozens of criminals who've been let out of Chicago jail recently, only to go on to shoot or murder someone else. Lori Lightfoot did this. But she accepts no responsibility for doing it. Instead, she blames firearms and demands more money from the federal government.
Cities individually cannot tackle this problem on its own. We just cannot. In Chicago, we've done absolutely everything possible. And we need help from the federal government because this is a national problem.
It's a national problem. The gun problem, it's a national one. Is it really? Chicago has long had some of the strictest gun control in the nation. The state of Montana has virtually no gun control. Who's got a higher murder rate? This entire conversation is nonsense. Lori Lightfoot has no idea what she's talking about, and in fact, as you can probably tell, she's not very interested. As long as her own security detail shows up on time, Lightfoot doesn't think a lot about crime. What she thinks about is radical social change, and this week she got an assist from the United States Congress. Starting this Saturday, our country is getting a new Independence Day to supplant the old one, which people like Lori Lightfoot complained was racist. Not a single member of either party in the Senate opposed it. Republicans, in fact, co-sponsored the resolution. Happy that my bill to recognize Juneteenth as a national holiday just passed the Senate, wrote John Cornyn, a supposedly conservative senator from Texas. Lori Lightfoot is thrilled by this. Unlike John Cornyn, Lori Lightfoot understands the power of symbols. They're immensely important. That's why we have them. For Flag Day on Monday, a holiday designed to honor the American flag, speaking of symbols, Lori Lightfoot is flying something instead called the Pan-African flag. You're seeing a shot of it on your screen right now. It's now up in City Hall in Chicago. That and the Juneteenth flag. Watch.
We must also recognize that freedom has been illusory for far too many American residents, including Black people. So we must embrace all American history. And today, on Juneteenth, we will be raising another flag, the Juneteenth flag.
Freedom has been illusory. Really? What's she saying? Well, she's saying that your old Independence Day and the nation that it celebrated was all a lie. So this is the kind of thing that Lori Lightfoot spends her time doing, that and berating her staff. Thanks to an open records request from the Chicago Tribune, we've got some of Lori Lightfoot's emails, and it turns out she is every bit the person you imagined she was. In January, for example, Lori Lightfoot told her staff, quote, "I need office time every day!" exclamation point. She wrote that very same line 16 times in a row. I need office time every day. I need office time every day. I need office time every day. And so on, 13 more times. Demented. And then for clarity, quote, not just once a week or some days, every day, exclamation point. And then Lightfoot wrote that exact same line 10 more times in a row. So she needs help, but is not as much help as her staff needs. Someone ought to stage a hostage extraction for their sake. Lightfoot ended her email with this. If this doesn't change immediately, I will just start unilaterally canceling things every day. Have I made myself clear? Finally, question mark, exclamation point. So as the bodies piled up, hundreds more under her tenure as mayor, you got to wonder, how much time did Lori Lightfoot take to write all of that? Was she shaking and spitting and screaming as she did? Of course she was. Here's Lori. It's terrifying. But apparently it didn't work. It wasn't enough. Things did not improve in the mayor's office despite those missives. In May of last year, Lightfoot announced a new policy for memos that arrive late. Late memos won't just be rejected, they will be torn by rage-filled fingers into millions of tiny little pieces and cast into the wind like chaff. Given the right weather conditions, late memo fragments might blow over Lake Michigan and fall onto Grand Rapids. In an email to her staff, Lori Lightfoot attached a picture of ripped up documents for emphasis. Lori Lightfoot, human shredding machine. And yet still, somehow, this person remains the mayor of America's third largest city. How long can that continue?